Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the Fatal Wrath channel. Had a little bit of a edit to the tier list from last time. Last time I kind of put my own personal opinion on it. And I kind of evaluated some videos that's been out recently examining the characters from the people in the Discord community. My Discord, the TMNT Legends Revenge Discord. If you like to get in there, just send me a message on Discord at the same name as the YouTube channel, Fatal Wrath, and I will get you in there. So, what we have here is kind of a revised version of it. Kind of goes off the community guides list. Kind of adds a little bit of a personal opinion. A little bit of videos that's been put out to examine each one of the characters. So it's been changed up a little bit. Now I'll try not to take a whole lot of time talking about this because you can just kind of see what it is here. But I do want to go over a few of the changes on here. So I want to start off, I'm making Classic Shredder the top one because we had a couple voting games and he came out on top first time round and then on a rematch. So we're gonna call him the best one. Usagi in both votes came up second place. So we're gonna say he's the second one. Then it kind of bounced back and forth as far as who the S tier should go to next. So I just kind of put my own spin on it. These characters right here are all currently in the S tier category. So I kind of placed Armagon as third. Then I went to Vision Quest Wrath. Then the Bunnies. I think I had somebody mention that Krang should be at the lowest, but I think he could probably get one bump up, and then I think Steranko would probably be best at the lowest. You can let me know on that one, but that's kind of where we are. Whether they're ranked high on the list or low on the list, they're still S tier quality. They're still really good. And that's kind of what we want to focus on there. But I think if you kind of get more Classic Shredder and Usagi unlocked, you should be really excited because you got some of the best characters unlocked in the S tier versus getting Steranko. Not that he ain't good. According to the Discord community, he's S tier quality. So I would still get pretty excited about unlocking him. But if you want to know what to get most excited for, it would be Classic Shredder and Usagi for sure. Yeah, I added a little bit of background music because somebody suggested to me don't use silent. So just a few tunes while we're talking here, but I made sure that the voice is way louder. I don't want the audio all that loud. A little bit more of a revision here. In my own personal opinion, I put Nick Leo in the S tier. The community wants him in A tier. So for this video, I'm going to leave him in A tier. But because he did win the last vote that we had when we ran the voting game through, a second time, because he was the top winner, I'm going to put him at the top of the A tier list. So that's where he goes. Third place was LARP Donatello. So I'm setting him next to the two Michelangelos because he came in third. And he's an A tier. And he's really awesome. Best one out of all the Donatellos. But I want to talk about these two Michelangelos here. They're great healers. Well, Nick Mikey, he's a great healer. And the dodge that he has is just perfect. He really helps your team. He is also somebody that I avoid when I go into the tournament. And I think the community also agrees to avoid him when going into a tournament because of his dodge. Because he can activate that, and it's really hard to get any attacks through to any enemies. Unless you're really good. Or unless you're high level versus Nick Mikey and the rest of the team not being so high level. Then you might have a pretty good chance. So I'm actually throwing Classic Mikey in here as well, because recently I had a little bit of a struggle in one of my tournaments that I recently did, where I had Vision Quest Raph going up against him, and he had a little bit of a struggle taking him down. And I believe my Vision Quest Raph is in the 80s, so the highest that the tournament goes is 79 for characters. So to make him struggle when Vision Quest Raph is S tier, that's pretty good. Right now, I kind of have an opinion. When I go into the tournament, I'm going to avoid Nick Mikey, and I'm going to avoid Classic Mikey. So because they kind of give off that vibe to avoid them, I'm going to say avoid these two. And I'm just going to kind of place them pretty high up on the A tier list for right now. And then Donatello follows because he came in third in the contest. I threw LARP Raph after that just because we're just following the LARPs there. I'm not really sure where he should really land on the list. But I know when he does that focus down, that's real good. Classic Raph, I threw on there next because he's really good. And he has that healing power. So I think it's okay to put him there. Maybe if you're going to put him down a few notches, you can. But I think he's okay where he's at. You can let me know. Comments are open. Snakeweed just recently got promoted into the A tier list. So that's why I put him pretty high up on there. And I do have a few that really like Vision Quest Leo. So that's kind of why I put it like this. Just because of how strong these characters can be. Then I threw in my Shredders because, you got to. Then I believe after that I just kind of followed what the layout, and how the tier list was listed after that. So that's kind of where the rest of this just came into play. So I'm just going to kind of breeze over these guys. They definitely all belong in the A tier list. But sitting here talking about it can take up a lot of time, and I don't want to take up a lot of time here. Besides, we got to address an issue. Pigeon Pete. I promoted him back into the B tier. Now I know in the community he's A tier. You know, I just can't put him up that far. Mainly because Nick Mikey does a lot of the things that he does. And I just can't get myself to bring him to A tier for those reasons. But if you remember seeing my last tier list video, and I'll have it as a link at the end of this one when I can put in the end cards. Pigeon Pete was all the way down in D tier because I just plain didn't like him. So I'm going to go easy on him a little bit. I'm going to bump him back up to B tier. But just personal opinion, I can't put him into A tier. I just can't seem to get there. It's fine if everybody else in the community puts him at A tier. I'm not going to say anything about it. But I just can't get him there. There was recently some videos on some of these other characters. Mondo Gecko. He was really, really good, and I think a lot of us overlooked it. There's also been real good videos on how good Space Donatello really is, and how good Creep is as well too. So I just kind of threw them higher up on the tier list. I didn't really know where to place them, but I think higher up on the tier list is a good spot for them. I also got Space Raft next to Space Donatello, because I think that's a good spot for him as well too. I didn't really know where to put Nick Donatello. I think it's just a good spot for him. Metalhead, I put him there because he was my go-to character in the Splinter Challenge, and you can view that video as well too. Maybe I can throw that at the end card as well, so you could go right to that as well, and see how well Metalhead helped out in that particular challenge. Then I think after that I just started following the community guides and just how it listed everything. I heard from somebody in the community that they like to avoid any time when Bebop and Rocksteady get into the tournament because of what they do as a pair. And so I think they could kind of be a little bit middle on the tier list for that reason, because they work real good as a pair. And some people in the community like to avoid seeing that work out in the tournament. So they see both of them in the tournament, they just skip it or hit refresh and go to a different set of opponents, which is fine. Then I threw Nick Casey Jones in there because he's real good and he's been in the B tier section. Then I think I just kind of let the rest just kind of fall where they should fall. But I definitely think Pulverizer should be at the bottom because he's just not really all that good. If it was up to me, I probably would even put him in the C tier because, I don't know, he doesn't really help a whole lot. So then we go down to the C tier. And I put Tiger Claw at the top because he got voted pretty far into the voting game. He was, I believe he was in top 5. He was the only C tier character that made it that far. So he's got to be pretty good for his tier position where he's at there. So that's why I had to put him at the top. Also, Muckman, he served to be pretty good, and there's a video on him as well. And I think he's just real good. I think he deserves to be higher on the tier list. Like I said, I'm just kind of guessing at the most of this pretty much at this point. So, I mean, for the exact spot, you can kind of shift them a little bit if you like to, but I definitely think he deserves to be on the higher end. Then I just threw the other two space turtles in there, along with the other two Vision Quest turtles, then the classic turtles, then the LARP turtles. Just because, and that's kind of where they were on the list, I believe. Then I had to pair up the Bebop and Rocksteady after that. Then throw in the remainder of the movie turtles. Then kind of go to Alapex, Hun, and all the rest, and just kind of how they were listed on the tier list. Um, Rat King, he used to be in the D tier, and as a community, we brought him up to the C tier. But because he was in D tier, I put him lowest part of the list. Now, you're free to tell me if he deserves to be a little bit higher up on there, and that's fine. But I really think that he should probably be on the lower end for sure. No doubt about that. Then we got our lowest, the D tier. What's left of it? I don't know. I heard a pretty good video today on Karai Serpent, even though everybody says she's the worst. I like to joke around about her being the best, but I'm kind of trolling when I do that. Kind of joking around, as I like to joke around. But maybe you level her up enough, she could probably be C tier quality. I also have some people in the Discord that like Shinigami. I'm thinking what's probably going to happen eventually is these two are going to go up into the C tier as well. And either Zek is going to be the lonesome one in D tier, or if we can find something good with him, I think he's going to go up into C tier as well. And we're not even going to have a D tier. I think we're just going to say that everybody in this game is so good, we only need S tier, A, B, and C, and we don't even need the D. Not the lowest tier at all. But maybe not. Maybe we can leave these three right where they're at. Maybe we can promote one of them. Maybe we can promote two of them and still say, no matter what, Zek stays lowest of the low. We'll see what happens. I'm pretty sure we're going to have more revised lists. But this is kind of where I think it should be. And kind of more of a strongest to weakest. And kind of going off the community guides tier list as well too. Just kind of adjusting it a little bit, revising it a little bit. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot more revision. I'm pretty sure we're going to come back to this again. But this is kind of where I wanted it to get to so far. Alright. Let me know what you think in the comments. We can continue the discussion there. We can continue the discussion in the Discord. And if this changes around enough, we just might have to put out another revision list for sure. I just wanted to get a little bit more Legends content out because right now a lot of the challenges are repeating themselves and there's not much to really add to it like there was a few weeks back. The next one will probably land on Monday when Usagi goes up against the Might characters. So I'm just kind of preparing for that. But right now, just to get some content, this is what we got. A revised tier list. Because everything else is repetitive at the moment. Anyways, I hope you like what I have to say about this. Feel free to discuss it in the comments. Feel free to bring it up in the Discord. We'll talk about it. We'll change it. We'll revise it again. I'm sure we'll come back here and talk about the tier list once again. I definitely see that happening. So anyway, like, subscribe, turn on notifications, stay alert, and check out other videos and other live streams within the channel. We got some great content coming up, some great TMNT Legends content. You can check out the playlist to get caught up and everything. So check all that out. And then I'll put a couple of those end cards here so you can kind of go back and review those videos and see what was said previously on this tier list and what Metalhead has done for the Splinter Challenge. Alrighty guys, thank you for tuning in to the Fatal Wrath channel. We will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.